This is Lynn, and welcome to another bonus episode of Find Your Groove. You're listening to us live on boldradiostation.com, and this is going to be a great bonus episode. This was we were supposed to air Friday, but had a family emergency that we had to deal with, and so we're doing it today. Luckily, my awesome guest was free that we could do it today. I just want to take a minute for those of you listening to share this. Just take a moment to, over on the right side of the player that you're listening on, click on that funny little triangle that's missing a side. Click that and share it on Twitter, Facebook, or Google+, and let everybody know that you're listening to Find Your Groove. This is going to be a fun show, and it's going to fly by, and I know that because I've had Heather on my show before, and we used to also co-host a show together, and I need some laughs because I have to say that Thursday was a really brutal day. Actually, the last 4 days have been really brutal for me since Prince died. I've been a fan since I was probably about 13 years old. Prince's music has been like the soundtrack of my life, and I never expected a celebrity death to affect me as much as this affected me. It really just, the memories of my life just flooded my brain. And I really spent the last 4 days really immersed in Prince music. I watched Purple Rain twice. I've listened to it in my car. It's really made an impact. You know, these moments in our lives that make impacts. And this one really did. And so I took 4 days to really just sort of veg. And that's not something I do. I'm go, go, go. I'm the Energizer Bunny, as my husband calls me. So that is unusual. But I did it, and I was meant to do that. So this really did it for me. And, you know, trying to find the light in every situation, I guess that was the light. It really forced me to slow down and take some time for me, because I always feel like I'm like being pecked at here by everybody in the house and the pets. And so it was great to be able to do that. So we're going to talk about life, because that's such a big topic, and Heather's life has been an inspiration to me, and I've always gotten some good chuckles from it. So Heather, welcome.
Thank you very much, Lynn. I'm glad you get some chuckles from my life. I hope some other people do too, and I'm glad it's provided some entertainment for you along the way. My ups and downs have amused you.
Well, not the downs. I mean, I don't laugh at anybody's downfalls, but just your look on life is really has always provided some smiles to me. So, for those of you that don't know Heather, she's a coach, an author, a cyclist. She's a speaker. She's an angel card reader. Look at that!
Inspiring stand-up comedian.
Yeah, exactly. So you do a lot of things. And for those of you who haven't read Heather's books either, I encourage you to, they can do that on your website, right?
Yes, they can head on over to my website. There's a link there to have a look at the books that I've published, including Following Daisies, which was my memoir that I published a couple of years ago.
Wilddaisy.ca if you want to go there and check out what Heather does and order those books. It's so great to have you back and chat with you. We had such a good time when we used to co-host Wise Gals together and talk about life's events and goings on, and it was such a good time.
No, we did have a great time. It's interesting to hear you. I hear you talk about Prince's passing recently, because I think it is really timely and powerful and meaningful for a lot of people. And I have to be honest, I was not a huge follower or a huge fan of Prince. Mm-hmm. And it was really interesting for me to watch the reactions and the responses of people who were huge fans and for whom his music was really, as you say, like the soundtrack of their lives.
Yeah.
And I think, the message, he had a powerful message, and he was just a powerful spiritual being,
Yes.
and I hope that people, are spending some time in the, days and weeks to come to really think about and tune into what that message was for them. And more
Yeah, that's what I
importantly,
did.
yeah, more importantly, to act on it, because he was a guy who really lived his truth. He was authentic, he was real, he was vulnerable, he was creative, he was flamboyant. He was fearless in being who he was and what he created.
Hmm.
And that's a powerful message for the rest of us, for him to leave that in his wake, so to speak, for the rest of us to feel inspired and challenged to be that, to be that in our own lives, whatever that looks like for us.
Yeah. I think that was the big thing. He was the original Born This Way.
Yeah,
Lady Gaga, her
exactly.
song. He was the original Born This Way, and I think that was a big thing for me was, yeah, he was exactly who he was.
Yeah, he
And
was, and not afraid of it. And I think that that is for us as humans. I think that's people. That's what we're here for. We're
yeah.
here to be, to really express ourselves, in a very real, vulnerable, exposed way. And he brought himself right to the forefront with that. And I think
Hmm.
that's probably why so many people connected with him, on such a deep and raw level, is that, he lived in his truth. And I think that's what we're all aspiring to do.
But so do you, Heather. You do too, and you're one of the few people. I think that's why I'm really drawn to the things that you do, and I'm always interested in follow the things that you do because you're one of those few people that does that as well. I mean,
Well,
you
I
were you
appreciate you saying
always
that.
that way? Like little
No.
Heather. Who was little Heather?
Little Heather. Oh gosh, little Heather grew up in a conservative family in a suburb of Toronto, and I was raised like many people were to be a good kid, to follow the order, to follow the rules, and follow a traditional path or traditional set of guidelines in life.
Mm,
And I tried that on for a good part of about 40 years of my life and I tried very diligently to make that work. And, I had an epiphany, a turning point, actually about seven
gotta
years
love
ago.
those epiphanies.
Yeah, exactly. I had a huge shift about 7 years ago when I realized, that just was not working for me, it was not, I was not going in a direction that was make me feel fulfilled or happy, or that I was living my truth. And that began a massive shift, as you know, and a massive cascade of changes in my life that involved selling my house and moving, and reevaluating my work and career path, and those types of things. And it's been a huge change, a huge adventure of ups and downs and all arounds, but a
Yeah, the
huge
adventure started like right away. Right away because reading your book, um, you talked about all the different things that happened because you had bought a huge, huge ass motorhome and had it painted and decked out. And I mean, you went in style.
I I did go in style, but it was funny. It was when I bought that RV, it was a 28-foot RV, and one of my dreams in the back of my head ever since I was a kid was to be a truck driver. And that wasn't necessarily something that my mom was going to endorse when I was making university choices. So it was almost like the latent fulfillment of a childhood dream when I bought that big ass RV.
Yeah.
And something called me in life that, I love daisies. Daisies are my thing, my guide, as it were. And I just knew I could not leave town. I could not, adventure across Canada without some daisies on that rig. So I invested some time and money putting some daisies on it, and also I felt very called at that time to, to really just follow my heart, to let life flow and let myself go and experience what that would feel like and what that would look like. So I put a mantra on the side of that RV that read, "Follow your heart wherever it takes you." And 7 years later, I can honestly say that I still live by that mantra for the most part, 95% of the time.
And you talked about, we have these ahas, these epiphanies, these pivotal moments in our life, and you had quite a few leading up to that. And but for a lot of people, then after they make a change or do something different, they fall back into, I guess, their comfort again. But you haven't. You've continued. So what is the thing that keeps you going to I'm going to do this, or I'm going to try that, or is it the results after a while? Because I know we can change our habits. So what was it that kept you going? Because you had some major setbacks, major setbacks. Not everybody gets to live at a car dealership.
No, not everyone gets to camp at the back of their car dealership for a couple of weeks.
So what keeps you going? Because a lot of people are like, well, I tried it, screw this. I'm going back to whatever my life was, or I'm just going to go back to being one of the, quote unquote, normal living. Not that you live abnormally, but I mean, you do a lot of things because you heard a lot of people saying, God, I wish I could do that, or if only. So what kept you going in the beginning when you would run up against these issues? And
well, I think there's a few things. I think one is, when I first made the decision, when you make a decision in life, that's your initial launch forward, and there's a momentum that goes with that.
Yeah.
So when I first made the decision, I was kind of, I had sold my house in Ottawa. I'd gotten rid of all my stuff. I was saying goodbye to my friends. So it was a big shift. And there was a sense of that I was moving towards something else. And I was really hugely ready for that. And I remember saying it was almost like at one point, like I was running from a burning building. My life was so uncomfortable and was not working for me. I was really ready for a shift. So I was highly motivated to change. I had reached that kind of, breaking point where life was so uncomfortable. I was moving towards something that I just intuitively, felt was going to be more rewarding and more fulfilling, and moving in that direction. And so there's a momentum to that. And then, when I got further along into that journey, as, months and, years go on, I became more invested in that, right? So there becomes a point where, for me, I didn't feel turning back was not an option because I had already come so far, Mm-hmm. It's like if you're, climbing to the top of Mount Everest, for instance, and you're at 20,000 feet, and this is a goal you've had for, years or your lifetime, your motivation is pretty high. You don't want to give up at that point. You want to get to the top. So it was kind of that momentum. And I think for me, most importantly, is, I felt since I was a kid that, I'm here for kind of a deeper purpose or a deeper message in life. And that this journey and adventure that I've had and all the challenges it's brought me has been for a purpose. And so that's kind of kept fueling me. And I've seen, bits and pieces along the way in terms of, books that I've published and people that I've coached and helped along the way and what that has meant and felt like. So that keeps fueling me because I continually hear from people who, do look at me as, as an example and inspiration. And, I'm working with clients who, struggled with the same issues that I once struggled with. So, I'm able to turn that around and help people now. So, that's really, subconsciously and consciously what was keeping me moving was that sense of, a deeper meaning, deeper purpose to it.
So have you found what that is for yourself? Do you know what that purpose is?
A part of it. It's continually evolved as I've moved along. And I think that for me is part of, my life journey is that evolution. At the current moment, I am working with, I've gone back to coaching clients and I've added on more of a, spiritual or intuitive side to coaching. As you know, I recently got certified as a certified angel card reader. So I'm adding more of a spiritual element to my coaching.
Yeah.
And looking at probably later on this fall, launching some new coaching packages and workshops to help people specifically with, I've noticed in the past few years and definitely since I've started doing readings, a lot of people come to me with life purpose questions.
Yeah.
Especially women in my age bracket.
Yes.
Which isn't a huge surprise, but a lot of people are looking for clarity on, finding their own meaning and finding their own purpose.
So answer me this. Do you think that, I think that finding your purpose or knowing what your purpose is, discovering it, whatever you want to call it, I think as great as that is, it can also trip people up because I think a lot of people are expecting that their purpose is supposed to be their vocation. So that gets people hung up because they think that whatever their purpose is, it must also be their job or their career. And I don't think that it is. And I'm wondering, are we meant to know what the purpose is? Or is it a thing or is it an experience? Is just life itself the purpose? Or is it deeper?
Well, you've brought up, how long is this call, Lynn?
Because you said it's evolving for you. So then I think, is that the purpose? Just to keep looking and keep experiencing life. Is that the purpose? Is that what this is?
That is an excellent question. And I would first say I completely wholeheartedly agree with you. I don't believe or feel that our purpose, A, that we even have a singular purpose, or B, that, that our purpose has to be our vocation. It does not, to me, I don't believe it has to be something that we're, compensated for or that it's our career or a job.
Yeah.
And I do think that, purpose can be something that's very individual and personal. So how you define that and frame it is a very personal thing.
Yeah.
So for me, purpose even has several levels to it and several compartments, as it were, and even though, I may not necessarily be at, a certain point in my journey where I feel I'm meant to be or, striving to be, I can still live with purpose in a number of other ways in my life, or express that purpose in every area of my life, and that's true for anybody. You can live purposefully through the way that you engage with others in your community or engage with someone at the grocery store, or, the way that you treat your pet or the way that you treat your environment can be very purposeful.
Yeah.
So there's a number of ways, I think. So, I would say that I think that, that we have been a little bit misled, or there is a misperception about what purpose means and how to live purposefully and meaningfully.
Well, I think it also makes, that's the thing with this industry, right? Is it then people think, oh my God, I don't know what my purpose is. God, I'm a loser.
Exactly. Yeah.
So then it gets people on this downward spiral when they may meet or talk to or see other people that are like, they're so sure that this is my purpose. And then people are like, oh my God, like, why can't I find mine? Like, and it sets people up to feel bad about themselves. And so that is the downside to the personal development thing, is that while this information is great and these ideas, it can make those who maybe it's not as clear for them feel shitty about themselves, which is not what we want. And it is ever evolving, but I like that, and I'm sure you've seen it too. It's said that you are your purpose. Your life.
Your life is your purpose. No, exactly.
Your purpose. Yeah.
Well, I sort of feel the way that purpose is so often framed right now, it's framed in the same way that happiness is, that it's something that we pursue, it's something out there, and it's a destination we have to get to, rather than taking it into our daily lives and our daily sense of self and our daily way of being. As we can live on purpose right now. We can be happy today. What are those things that we can do to be on purpose now and today, and the same thing with happiness. So I wholeheartedly agree with you that it is about, and that is very much about being ourselves and focusing on ourselves and being who we are every single day.
Yeah, and that's. And being the label society that we are, people need to know, they need to have a name, it has to be identified. And, they have to have it somewhat at least figured out. So that's where people like you and I come in with coaching, but with you now, even more so with the angel card reading that you do for people. And I was lucky enough to be gifted with a reading by you, and it was such a great time because I'm human. I mean, you like to have confirmation of things, and so it wasn't to find my purpose. For me, that wasn't my thing, but I know you do have a lot of people that come to you searching for that or wanting some direction and guidance on that, but it is nice to have confirmation. So are you having a good time doing these readings?
Oh my gosh, I am absolutely loving it, I have to say. And as I've said, I'd say of the readings I do, I would guess about 75, if not 80% of them are questions or concerns around life purpose, meaning issues. And it is hugely gratifying to see some of the messages and shifts happen, or messages that come through on shifts that have happened as a result of, some of the readings that I've done with people. And, the messages that can come through can be quite varied for people. For some, it's very clear messages about, what they're meant to be doing or what decision they need to make. And for other people, it's more about subtle actions around, shifting their energy or shifting their thoughts, different pieces of the puzzle for them to help them move along because they're just in a different place. So there's different ways that they can help people or help clarify or reassure them. With the messages that have come through. So for me, that's really kind of augmented, the more sort of traditional framework of coaching with a bit more of an intuitive spiritual side. And it's nice to I consider it almost like a message from a third party.
Yeah.
Coming into a coaching session when, I may pull a card that says, positive energy, for instance, and, it's a message to the client about, their thoughts and shifting their energy to help, move towards their goals, for instance.
Yeah.
It comes in with a slightly different, kind of maybe validates our conversation, and it's just another, um, you know, how do I want to say this? Just a different. It's almost like validation for the message,
Yeah.
for the conversation that we're having from,
Mhm.
their angels, but it's a nice, soft presentation of the message.
Yeah, it is. And I know that that was it for me. So when we did for those of you listening, when we did Heather did the reading for me, it was really getting confirmation, validation on what I was doing. And it was a great experience. I had had my cards read some time ago. Um, and so the message was similar. And I've had my palms read and I've had psychic readings. And so it was really nice. And there were things that came about afterwards that I had messaged you about because I did sort of have a question in terms of what was happening and what my goals were. And so we met on Skype. So for those listening that are interested, doesn't matter where you are, you can meet with Heather on Skype. And, and she will do a layout for you, and then she will give you the information afterwards as well. But it really did confirm it with me, certain things. And things did happen afterwards. I had shared with you goals I had regarding the radio station, and shit happened. Shit started happening after that. And it continues. It definitely continues. And it provides you a confidence because, which I think is so important to be able to take those steps, get beyond those fears or those things that hold you back. So it was like, okay, I am on the right path. And then things do start happening and you're like, whoa, okay, this is good. Because it is those small things that do give you the motivation to keep going.
No, exactly. And, I got into angel cards when I did start to travel in my RV. I bought a deck of cards because I knew I was taking a huge leap. And, I couldn't always call my friends for support or advice. And I wanted to, I did want to learn to tune into my intuition and, connect more with my angels and just have that kind of guidance and reassurance. So that's when I first started playing with them, and very much so they are. We can often let our our fears or thoughts or worries overcome us, and a simple card reading or a nudge from our angels can just provide that reassurance and clarity. Sometimes we may know the answer already. We often do know the answer already, but we just want someone else to say, yeah, you're right. Keep going, trust it, and hey, maybe try this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's what they really do. And I'm not surprised. A card reading doesn't end when the card reading is over. Is most often, and if not always, it begins to stir things up, and things do happen. So I'm not at all surprised that you had some things unfold after the reading, because that's generally what does happen for those people who are open.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think so. Because it's so subtle. I mean, some things are quite in your face, but some things are really subtle. And it did confirm for me. You had done a layout for me and things that had come up, and that totally confirmed what was important to me. You had come up with a justice and 8 of air, and study and another air card and the star. And then you had some jumper cards, the jumpers.
The jumper card.
Yeah. And something came out of that one card that you pulled that totally really sort of had nothing to do with what all the other cards were pointing. And all the other cards for me were really career focused, like with my business, with my coaching practice, and with the radio station. And but then you pulled this one that was totally had nothing to do with any of that. It could a little bit, but which was for me sort of kind of stopped me because there was things going on in that area, and it was like, whoa.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember specifically what that card was, and that's okay. We don't need to bring it forward. But I, that's another thing that can happen in a reading is that even, before I even see a client or speak to a client, even, excuse me, even the act of engaging and booking a reading, for instance, means that a process has started. And, when I'll have some conversation with a client before the reading even begins. And a client already brings in some questions or things that are on their mind. And even if those don't come out in a specific question in the reading, if that's top of mind or your angels think you need to, they need to give you a message about that topic, they
need to slap you upside the head.
Yeah, I'm trying to be diplomatic, but if they need to hit you over the head, they will. So that's why, you will. That's why, for instance, you had, quite a few cards that addressed your career question. And then, another card that was hello, we're going to talk to you about this other issue as well. Here's what you need to think about. By the way, we're just going to throw this in at you. And I do see that happen, very regularly. And I've seen it happen even with, cards I pull for myself, as I may ask, a particular question, but the cards will come up to address something I was thinking about 10 minutes ago.
So what is the process if someone is interested in having a card reading with you? What, for those listening, they're thinking, well, hey, I've never done that. I think I might like to do that. What's the process?
Well, the process is they can go to my website, and if they've never had a reading before, they can, have a look at my bio and have a look at my credentials. There's a few blog posts about readings and some information that they can read and have a look at. And if it resonates for them or something they feel they're interested in, they can contact me by email and book a spot, and we go from there. And as you said, I can do them via Skype. It's I can work with people anywhere in the world, and that makes it very easy to connect. And you get a great reading over Skype.
Yes, you do.
Great experience. Yeah, I've done readings by phone, over email, over Skype, in person, and the messages always come through regardless of the means of the reading.
Because the point is the message. The message
exactly.
is the
the
message.
point is the message. Yeah, the message is the message. It's going to come through no matter what.
Yeah.
Do
you have? Is there a reading maybe that you've done that really stands out for you that you're like, holy crap, like that was unbelievable, either at the time or what came of it afterwards?
The one that comes to mind the most is this one. It was a woman who contacted me. And she was obviously in a bit of she was on Salt Spring. She was visiting the island here, and she contacted me by email, and she wanted a reading like the next day. And I was a little busy, so I wasn't quite sure I could do it. But then she told me it was her birthday. I said, okay, I'll meet you tomorrow morning. And she was an out of towner, and her question again was she was probably, I'm going to guess, about 40. Was a life purpose question. She was working, she was self-employed in a professional career. And I didn't know exactly when we started the reading what the nature of her business was. And, her question was whether she should continue along, doing the work she was doing,
Yeah.
or consider something else. And so I pulled, if I recall, I pulled 3 cards for her. And I don't remember exactly what the cards were, but the message was so crystal clear that they were from the Life Purpose deck. I remember that. About, she had done really well in the career to this date, but she needed to consider going back to school and getting additional skills and moving into like a speaking profession of some sort. And as it turns out, I learned it, and these cards came out, and as it turned out, she revealed she was thinking of going back to school. She was hedging. She wasn't sure that, she should make that change or not. And it was very much along the lines of the reading. But the really funny part was, not the funny part, but we also got talking about the work that she was doing. She worked in law. And she worked in a part of law that was, she worked in family law. And it was very tough. And while she did very well at it financially, it was draining her on a soul level.
Yeah.
And she sensed she was looking at getting into mediation. And so we talked about what that would look like and mean for her. And as we began to talk about it, and I looked at her energy, to me, she just looked so suited to taking the skills that she had in law and bringing more humanity to the family law process.
Yeah.
If that makes sense to people in those situations, that she was the person to do that.
Yeah.
And it came so clear in the reading, and she just lit up. I could see her visibly light up as we were talking. And then I pulled one card from a last card from the Archangel Michael deck, and which is he's one of the most powerful archangels. It's my favorite deck. And I pulled the card that there are 44 cards in this deck. And I said, we're just going to close the reading. I'm just going to pull this one card and see what he's got to say. And the card that came up is This Is Your Life's Purpose card.
That was mine. That was mine too at the end.
Exactly. And I just laughed. I said, you cannot make this shit up, and she laughed too. And she was headed back home to, she had already looked into taking courses in mediation and other areas that would move her forward. And she headed back and started on that work.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's those kind of things that she'd already been thinking about it. But as is not uncommon with many people, one of the fears or one of the barriers that people have is financial.
Yeah.
Is they're afraid to jump forward into something else because, they fear they're not going to make as much money. They're going to lose money. They're afraid of giving up a sense of security.
Yeah.
But when they can connect to, a deeper meaning and a purpose, that kind of value that they can offer the world, when they can make that connection, that helps drive them and move them forward when they can see that as a payoff,
Well, I think it gives them some faith.
Yeah, it helps gives them some faith to overcome whatever those fears are, right?
Yeah. Yeah. What a great addition. Yeah, a great addition to your coaching. So you also do the one-on-one coaching, and do you always use the cards when you're doing coaching, or is it like a separate thing?
Right now, I usually pull, we usually do a reading every session if the client wants that.
Yeah.
And it can vary between, I usually don't pull more than 3 cards. Most often it's, depending upon where we're at, is 1 card, depending upon where the client's at. So 1 to 3 cards.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's at the beginning of the session. Sometimes it's at the end. It's a very intuitive process.
Yeah.
In terms of, how we pull, how many cards I pull, and what deck we go with.
Yeah.
But what I've seen is boom, again, same thing. The messages are always crystal clear,
Yeah.
and really, tell the client where they need to focus their energy and where they need to make some changes.
Yeah. I love things like that because I think it's great to have these tools in life. And I think that it's so valuable, whether it's something like that or whether for some people it's been journaling that have saved their lives or whatever that is. There's a certain process, meditation, and I always encourage people to. I always encourage people who feel that they just should be so strong and self-empowered without needing things. But that's why those things exist, and use the tools that are out there that different people have, coaches or the different resources that are out there to help you, that it's not a sign of, I don't know, lack or weakness or inability or anything like that. I think these tools are fabulous because we could all use a little bit of support and help. So I think it's so great that you have that to go along with what you do. And it's fun. I think it's fun. I love having readings and...
No, you're right. It adds a fun, and that's very much me, right? Is I like to have fun and make it fun. And to me, they're a fun, light tool to bring to the table, but a powerful tool. And the other great thing about them, the messages that come out, is sometimes they're very simple. We're in a society or culture that's very action oriented, and we're told that to reach our goals, you have to work hard, drive fast. We feel like we always should be doing something. And sometimes the messages that come through are very simple, like go connect with nature, go have some playtime. And that is sometimes, the message that people most need to hear is, stop overthinking right now and just go play, watch a fun movie, go dancing. Do something for yourself, and that will help you move forward.
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's counterintuitive, a little counterintuitive to our very driven culture.
Yes, we are. We're a quick fix. So we swing back and forth. We go, 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 and then we drop, and then that's why retreats are so popular right now. Go, 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 go.
But I'm going to retreat
yourself.
For a week, and then I'll be okay.
Exactly. And then I'm going to go to a retreat. That's the way it is. It's the way, that's where we find ourselves now. We go, 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 go for the hustle, which is fine, but know how you work, know your flow, know when enough is enough for you, and then take that time to stop. Because I am a go, go, go person. That's the way I am. And I understand that. I've learned along the way, okay, you're reaching that point. You don't want to reach that point. It's time to back off and just be yourself, because some people are just like that. So
it's almost like the new mantra, you just said go, go, go. And as you were saying that, it just came to mind, slow, slow, slow.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to find that rhythm for yourself. That's totally what it is. You find your own rhythm, because we are all different people. We operate differently, and different, our motivation is different, our everything. So it's to find that your own flow for yourself and find things that will help you get back on track and find your groove again. So
find your groove again. Exactly.
How do you find your groove when you because we all get out of sorts and get thrown off, and so how do you find your groove?
You know what? One of my most grounding things that I do is I know when I'm feeling a little antsy and out of whack, one of the best things for me to do is go for a hike. Is I go out, pick my favorite trail here, go out with my dog, have a nice hike, and then I feel, reconnected and rebalanced, because I have a fairly strong sense of when I feel, out of balance or I'm not taking enough me time. Mm-hmm. And so I do regularly schedule me time for myself, but life happens and it's not always possible to follow that schedule. So
Yeah.
if I have, a period of a few days or something where I feel, I haven't had enough me time, is that's generally what I'll choose to do is hit the woods and and reground myself.
Take Daisy Mo with you.
Take Daisy Mo with me, and that's the
Get
advantage
her
of having a
exhausted.
dog. Yeah, get her exhausted, but that to me, that's like the most soulful place for me to go, or head to the beach. We head to the beach. I'm blessed here to live by the ocean, so anywhere out in nature is a good place for me to be.
Or a solo dance party to the Doobie Brothers.
or that, or you know me well. It's funny that you say that because I was actually dancing this morning before the call, but I was not dancing to the Doobie Brothers. I was dancing to, are you ready for this?
What?
Kool and the Gang.
Oh! So good, too. So good, classic. Kool and the Gang. Gotta love them, yes.
Yeah, that dates me a little bit, but
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Yeah. I think dancing for a lot of people is how they find their groove again. I know for me, sometimes it's, as much as I don't like it, no, some people do, but yesterday for me, it was like just puttering around the house. It was doing those shit jobs that I've put off for a while, the spring cleaning type things. But that seems to get me sort of back in. I turn on the tunes and I clean, and that helps me get back on track again. It helps me find my groove. It's different at different times, depending on what you need. And like you, for me, sometimes it is going for a really good walk. Sometimes it's around here going, like you said, you and I both live in the same area. So we're right on the West Coast, right on the Pacific Ocean, and love going to Neck Point Park and going for a hike around there and just getting out and feeling that ocean air on my face. And it's different things at different times, but good dance party's always good.
no, for me too. I like, sometimes too, I have to start with, if my house is, not clean or it's untidy, I have to get that settled first before I go and, go out.
I think it's a meditative process.
Yeah, it is a little meditative, but also it makes you feel good because you feel organized. Clean. You've got some structure in your living environment, and that just it's calming.
Yes.
To me, it's a little calming to have that kind of order and cleanliness, and so you spend a lot of time in your environment, so that makes sense, to do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, do you have anything coming up? Any programs? Anything that people should be on the lookout for? Other than you people that are listening, you need to go and get Heather's books. So make sure you go on to her website, wilddaisy.ca. What else is happening? And we didn't even have a chance, because we're getting to the end now, we didn't even have a chance to talk about how freaking funny you are in the stand-up comedy that you do.
I know. I do too many things, don't I? But I can tell you right now, I'm working actually with a friend of mine, a new friend, colleague here on the island who does Reiki and chair massage. And over the summer, we are together going to be offering experiential healing sessions here on the island in various locations. So on beaches and fun nature locations, where we're going to be offering that and until the end of the summer.
Cool.
So that's for people who are either on Salt Spring or coming to Salt Spring. So I'm super excited about that because that's going to be a ton of fun.
Totally.
And she's also had a lot of experience in life transitioning and career counseling. So we are looking at co-hosting some workshops together beginning in the fall, and those will be live and also online. So that's something that we're going to be looking at launching in the fall. And those will be along, life purpose, meaning topics. Mm-hmm. And you can expect that in the fall I'll also be launching. Right now I'm doing one-on-one coaching sessions, and it's been a bit of a beta test. The people I'm working with right now in terms of how to frame that together. So I will be launching in the fall more slightly different packages in terms of coaching. But they're in beta form right now. Let's put it that way.
Cool. So the group thing that you're going to be doing, so every Saturday there's that big market or whatever in Salt Spring and Ganges.
Correct.
Are
Yeah,
you going to be there? Are you two going to be there with us?
we're not going to be right in the market. We're looking at being, there's a metaphysical store that's very close to the market. We're looking at setting up there. But we're also looking at, the market is very busy. And so there's a lot of different energy and vibe there.
That's true, yeah.
Right. So we're looking at, I mean, there's some gorgeous beaches here. There's a beautiful dock on the northeast corner of the island that offers great sunsets. So we're looking at offering sort of more premium, more premium healing sessions for people that incorporate, as I said, she does Reiki and chair massage. So we would offer that to the client first before they have their reading. So they're, they're relaxed, they're tuned in, they're open.
Nice. It's like a spa day for the mind.
It's like a spa day for the mind in these, this beautiful nature environment, which is really, a kind of experience that is quite unique. And she has actually a very similar life story and life path to mine. So together I feel really comfortable and
cool.
With our collaboration and what we can offer people, and I'm very much a team player. While I enjoy working on my own, I also really enjoy, the powers of collaboration. So, I'm really excited about this.
Cool.
Yeah. So if you're ever in Salt Spring.
Yeah, I definitely want to get there. Definitely want to get there this summer for sure. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So just before we get to the end, all the places and the best ways for people to get in touch with you for readings, coaching, whatever, just want to talk to you. How can everybody reach you and find you and learn more about you?
The best way is to go to my website, which is wilddaisy.ca, sort of like the flower.ca. And they can read about me there, connect for readings, and also connect on Facebook through that page. That's the easiest way.
Okay. And your email address is there and all that good
email,
stuff.
Phone number, everything's there.
There you go. There you go. Cool. And do you have videos on there? Do you have any of your stand-up videos on there?
I do not at the moment have any of my stand-up videos there. I think there are some on YouTube. If people go to YouTube and just Google my name, some of my stand-up stuff will come up there. I am the host. I am hosting a comedy skit show here on Salt Spring once a month right now.
Yeah.
So I do a bit of stand-up there, and I've gone to Victoria a couple times to do stand-up. It's just a fun outing for me to do that.
Yeah.
I love making people laugh, and it's just a fun way for me to get up on stage and engage.
Well, you're
people.
very good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're very funny.
It's
very
fun.
funny. So go to YouTube and search for Heather Pardon, and then go to her website and order her books and get her angel card reading because it is super cool. Super cool. So just really quick, I want to ask just a couple more things before we go. What is the philosophy that you live by now?
Oh gosh, the philosophy that I live by. It goes, well, I think there's a couple of different philosophies or guiding principles, as they were, and one is still very much to follow my heart wherever it takes me. That's a real guiding principle for me.
Yeah.
And then, secondly, that life is fun. Life is meant to be fun. And
yes.
So I really try hard to, live a life that's fun, but also help other people have fun and to lighten up a little bit. So that's a guiding principle for me. And I think thirdly, alongside with all that is, live a life that's kind and compassionate and loving.
Yeah.
That's really important to me, both to myself and to others. So I don't know that I have one philosophy, but, a few principles like those key ones.
Yeah. Fun and compassion, I think, are two things that, my God, we could definitely use more of.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing for me too. It's got to be fun. I
It's
like,
got to be fun.
simple, simple but powerful and fun. None of this complicated mumbo jumbo shit. Like come on.
No, there's actually, I think Ben and Jerry once said, if it's not fun, I remember this bumper sticker, if it's not fun, why do it?
Yeah,
And that is often the question, or usually the question I ask when I'm invited to do something or when I'm considering something is either, is it going to be fun? Where's the fun? How can I make it fun? Is it going to be fun for other people? So, there's got to be it's got to be fun in there somewhere, or fun for me.
yeah,
Or it's just not, it's going to be painful and I won't do
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So our time is up.
That's it. You know what? Like we said, it went quickly.
It always goes quickly. Always. I mean, we could talk on about so much more because you do a bunch of other stuff and we get chatting and talking about different things. So we could go on, but we'll have to leave that for another day.
All right.
All
I'm
right.
game. Another day. Game. I'm another day.
And Daisy Mo didn't say a peep the whole time during the show. What
No,
a
I
good
think,
doggy.
you know what? I think we actually put her to sleep. She's asleep.
Oh. Well, maybe she thought we were boring.
Maybe she did. I don't know.
Well, thank you so much for the short notice of having to reschedule for today. It was a bonus. It was perfect timing, and I appreciate it.
Oh, you're most welcome. It was my absolute pleasure to chat with you again and to be here. And I'm glad that the stars aligned that we could do this show together today. It was fun.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It was good, and I am looking forward to seeing what more you have coming out and what you're doing, and wish you tons of success with this new endeavor through the summer. Sounds like great programs for people, and for those of you, if you're on Vancouver Island or on Salt Spring Island, head on over there. Salt Spring is just so groovy anyway, but this sounds like a great thing you've got going on. So congratulations. Yeah. That's fantastic.
Well, yeah, thank you. It's going to be fun. So stay tuned for photos or more.
And like we said, go to YouTube and search for Heather Pardon and watch some of her stand-up gigs because they are funny. And reach out to her, wilddaisy.ca. Ask her questions and, read her blog and get her books. And, reach out to Heather because she loves meeting new people.
I do, actually.
Yeah, you do, because your life's been that for the last 7 years, meeting new people, traveling across Canada and doing all these things. And so it's always such an inspiration to me. So thank you so much. And thank you again for joining me today. And thank you, everybody, for listening. I wish you a fantastic Monday, a fantastic week. And actually, I'm going to catch you again here on no, you won't catch me on Friday. You'll catch me the next Friday after that. But thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks again, Heather. And remember, until next time, you have the power within you. Have a great day. Bye for now.
Have a great day.